Hello crafting friends, it's Kevin here. Just a quick video tutorial. After watching Linda and Hel's on this evening's launch of the All Occasions USB, I noted that they gave us the option to resize our PDFs for printing. Now I know that it's very easy to do it if you know how to do it, but what I thought I would do is show you how you can look at that in different programs. Not everybody's using Adobe and not everybody uses the same printer, so sometimes these settings can be different. And while we're in Adobe, I'll show you a couple of tips and tricks that you can maybe use that will maybe help you on the way as well. So let's go into the folder. Now what you'll have noticed is that says Woodland Surprise. What I've done is I've copied the folder off the USB and put it directly on my desktop, and because we're going to be manipulating the PDF files in regards to which programs open them, I'm not using the autorun exe. It's always better using that if you can by going through the File Explorer and then clicked on the icon that's got Autorun with the disk icon beside it. It's better because that's the way it was designed to work. Okay, very quickly then, we'll go into WS Basics. And I've already changed the view on that, so I'll go back to List, which is default. This is how basically a file system will look to you if you look at it directly. We've got the file name with the Adobe Acrobat sign beside it, and that tells me that that's the basic program which it will open up on. Now, I have set Adobe up that so when you click on large icons or extra large icons, that'll give you a small preview. You can only do that manually. It won't automatically do that by default. So I'll show you how we do that. So open the file. And there we have a PDF with the beautiful paper. Okay, so before we go to print it, I want to show you where you would go in Adobe to make that setting work so that it shows you a thumbnail in Explorer. So if we go to Edit, then Preferences, and it brings up a whole load of options, and you think, no, not getting near that, that's too complicated. Well, actually it's not. All the options down the left hand side, if you're computer savvy or you want to do special things with special documents, that's what all these are for. Basically, you can set up the program how you want to use it. We need to go to General because it's a general setting. And although it looks as if, oh, the setting I need's not there, well, that's because there's more below. So we just go across to the drag bar at the side, and we'll go down at the bottom, and there's a small tick item here. Enable PDF thumbnail previews in Windows Explorer. So if that will naturally be unticked. So you need to tick that and then click OK. And then the computer will automatically ask you, there'll be a box will pop up in the middle, and it will say, are you sure you wish to install this product? Click on yes, let it do what it needs to do, and then come down to the foot and click OK. And then that's basically it. You should be able to view your PDF files. And if I just go down to the bottom, that means you can look at the previews. Because as I say, as by default, it doesn't do that. Okay, moving on. How do I make this sheet here print either borderless or half the size? If we click on the print icon at the top here, it will automatically jump onto the preview screen, which shows what you're about to print. Now, I'm led to believe the screen that you're currently looking at is actually a Windows 10 screen. It is automatically using the driver for the Canon. Now, if I was to click on, we've got a second network printer here, so if I was to click on Brother, you'll see the screen jump slightly, but you think, oh, that's changed. That's because it's using the same interface. Now, I have noticed there's a couple of you who've been having problems with printing through other printer types. Without going too deeply into it in this video, each individual printer will have its own settings, and if you use the manufacturer's driver for it, it will tell you what it can and cannot do. So for example, let me click back on the Canon for a moment, because that's the preferred printer that we use for doing any of the samples. It says there custom scale, and you can change that from 100, let's go 50, and then I would click on print at the bottom there, and that will then print it to half the size of the original document. Now, unfortunately, if I go and do that right now, it'll print it downstairs and I won't be able to show you on this video. If you click on the Advanced tab, I beg your pardon, the Properties tab, in fact it's just updated there because I've clicked off of it. So you can see there that if you do click away from it, I'll put 75 in this time, and it will change it when we go back in. If I go to Properties, as you saw I did there, it brings up a second screen. This is the screen that I was trying to explain to someone earlier today to look for, because this is where you can, there's maintenance of the printer, there's a setup for the page, you can change it from A4 to just about anything you can really fancy, if your printer supports it obviously. You can rotate, you can, depending again on printer specifications, you can make it duplex print, which basically means it'll print on two different sides. Our printer doesn't support that automatically. But if we go back here, one of the options we have is borderless printing. Now obviously it's brought up another thing to say, well, what do you want to print it on? Well, in this case it's going to be plain paper. Click OK. And click OK. Now it's, there we go, it's going back to 75. So if I was going to be doing a borderless print, obviously we'll be going for 100% because we want it to fill the full page. It's still clicked, and it's still on plain paper, and it's still on A4. Click OK, and then print. And then when that prints off, it won't have a border around the outside of your A4 sheet, which is basically the same print quality and the same level of DPI, dots per inch, as you would get if it was a paper pack. Now, as I said, each computer, beg your pardon, each printer is going to be different. So if I click on the brother printer, which is the other printer we've got here, and then go to properties on it, it's a different screen. And I don't have the option to go borderless. And that's because the brother printer doesn't support the borderless print. So it'll depend on what your printer actually does support, whether you can actually get to that feature or not. Okay, so that's a quick tutorial on how to resize and how to get your PDF to open in preview mode. Second thing I want to show you, the PDF is quite a utility file. It can be opened in more than one program, as I'm sure some of you have read. Some of your colleagues out there are running in Foxit or PDFX or really anything else that's out there. There are a lot of programs out there that will allow you to open a PDF file. Now, if we go back to the list variant again, and if I right click on that file and give it a moment, it'll open up the utilities menu. You go to properties, and that brings up how you get into the background of the file and how Windows sees and handles the file. The bit you're interested in is where it says change. You can see at the moment it says Adobe Acrobat Reader. If you click on change, it gives you the opportunity to move on, and as you can see, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Google Chrome, Torch browser, or look for another app on the Microsoft Store. Simply, if you click on look for an app in the Microsoft Store, it will open up the Store app, and you'll be able to search for many different variants that would allow you to open PDF files with. I'll very quickly do that. Again, don't worry about the colours and things. I've got my computer set up in quite a personal way. There we go, results for PDF. There we have Trio Office Word, Adobe Reader Touch, Cool File, PDF Reader, Neat Office, PDF X. Guys, experiment. They're there for you to use. These ones are recommended by Microsoft, so they will work with your computer. If you're using Microsoft Windows 10 version S, you won't be able to download anything other than these. The machines are locked down that much. We'll come away from that at the moment because that isn't really what I wanted to do for you. Again, we'll go back to change, and let's just say we'll go to Firefox and click OK. You can see automatically that the small icon that was left of the title has changed, and it's gone to the Firefox logo. So if I open it in Firefox, I don't want to make you the default browser because that's not what I normally use. Give it a moment and it'll open up the PDF file. There we are. All browsers, I think I'm right in saying, will support PDF files. And the reason for that is PDF is a bit like a universal accepted way to carry a document or an image. So just about every software user out there uses them. It says here automatic zoom. That's not what we're looking at. That's for looking at it on screen. For changing the print type, we need to click on the printer icon, and here we see a generic printer come up. To get to where you're looking for, like just about everything else in Windows, you need to go to Preferences or Properties or Settings or whatever it is. In this case, it's obviously Preferences. Click on Preferences and there you go, borderless printing. Now, remember what I said about it'll only take it from the Canon printer. If I was to cancel that and go to Brother and then go to Preferences, lo and behold, it's changed it again. So your printer will or may look different from what we're dealing with here. But just for the auspices of showing you where we are, we're going for a standard sheet. Now, if we're using photo paper, if you wanted to print your images off on photo paper, you would obviously go and change the setting. And that, as you can see, is automatically going to borderless printing. And it's automatically changed the size of what we need to go for. Go back to standard and click on page setup. Again, this is where you can set your paper to change the size that it's looking for, and you can change your print quality. And we'll just click it back to defaults, and then we click OK, and then that will print away for you. Again, we'll go back in and we'll go to Preferences, and the only options that you've got, click on Advanced for example, the only options you've got in here, borderless printing's off, output quality is normal, scaling none, because it doesn't have the option to do that. You can change the aspect, or you can change the printing order. If you're printing 2 or 3 sheets, it would give you that opportunity. But as I say, you need to play with these. Don't worry if you think you're going to break it, because you can tell the machine at any time, no, I want you to go back to default settings, and it'll go back and do that for you. Okay, so just before I forget, not how to rescale, click on print. Make sure you're on the printer that you're dealing with. Click on preferences. Page setup. Scaled. And let's go down to 30%. And if we go to preview before printing, click OK, click print, it should give us a preview of how it's going to look. And there is 30% of what the big file would be. So it doesn't really matter what program you use, somewhere in there you will get the facility to resize your document to be able to make it print. Now obviously you would never want to print it at 30%, but it just gives you that option to resize any artwork that you have on PDF to fit whatever it is you want it to fit. I hope this has helped. I hope it's been informative. Remember, anything you change, if you're not happy with it, you can always go back to the start, go to properties, and change it back to where you were. And just about everything that's on Windows 10, there are background programs which will kind of help you go along. It'll tell you, yeah, you're allowed to do that, or no, you can't do that. For instance, it won't let me, as you can probably see there, it never gave me the opportunity to open PDF in a PowerPoint document. It can't do it, so it won't let you do it. I hope this has been informative. As always, leave a comment or feedback, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you very much.